We're all swimming in this massive sea of information every single day. But what if I told you there was a way to see beneath the surface of every headline, every story? Today, we're diving into a really unique framework for doing just that, the ancient Arreqqana art of decoding truth. It's all about seeing the news not just as a bunch of facts, but as a story with hidden layers. So, to really get a feel for this, let's just jump right in. We're going to start our investigation with a single headline, something that looks pretty straightforward, the kind of thing you'd probably just scroll past without even thinking twice. Okay, here it is. Security operation protects citizens from dangerous uprising. Just let that sit for a second. On the surface, it seems pretty clear, right? It's about safety, about protection, about keeping order. But is that really the whole story? This is the big question, isn't it? This is what we're going to figure out together. Think of it like a little mystery. That headline? That's our very first clue. And we are about to uncover what's really going on behind those words. So, how do we crack this case? Well, the key is something called the Arreqqana philosophy. It's this incredible method designed specifically to find the truth that's hiding just beneath the surface of any official story. Now, what's really cool about this is its core metaphor. The Arreqqana teach that every story has two parts. You've got the wave, that's the obvious, visible part you see right on the surface. But then there's the current, that powerful, unseen force that's actually driving the whole thing. Our job is to learn how to feel that current. And this quote, wow, it just lays it all out perfectly. It gives us our three targets. First, the wave. That's the story we're being told. Second, the silence. That's what's not being said. And third, the current, that deep underlying truth. So let's take these ideas and apply them to our headline. All right, we're ready. Let's start applying the three layers of Arreqqana decoding, the narrative, the cover-up, and the truth, and see what happens to that headline we looked at earlier. So layer one is what the Arreqqana call the framed wave. It's the official story. With our headline, the narrative is super simple. The state is keeping you safe. But notice the words they use. Protects, citizens. They're chosen very carefully to make you feel reassured, to make you feel grateful to authority, not suspicious of it. Okay, now we go deeper. Layer two, the cover-up, or sigivin. This literally translates to the veil of silence. And this is where we start looking for what's been deliberately left out or twisted. This isn't about what's being said anymore. It's about what's being hidden right there in plain sight. I just love this saying. It is so powerful. It's basically telling us to notice the gaps, right? To listen for the missing pieces of the story. So let's go ahead and pull back that veil of silence on our headline and see what we can find. And there it is. The word uprising. It's hiding the fact that this was probably an organized, nonviolent protest. And dangerous? That's classic doublespeak, designed to make any kind of dissent sound like a violent threat. And what's completely missing? Well, any mention of what the state actually did, which was likely a violent dispersal. The silence there is absolutely deafening. And this brings us all the way down to the final layer, that current we've been searching for. The Arreqqana call it the resonant thread. This is the core reality of the situation. It's that consistent truth that just kind of vibrates underneath all the noise and all the silence. So what was really happening? A community was protesting unfair economic laws. The real danger wasn't to public safety, it was to an unjust system that was making a powerful few very rich. That is the truth, the resonant thread, that the headline was specifically designed to bury. Okay, so now that we've walked through one example, the big question is, how can you start doing this yourself? Well, the Arreqqana philosophy gives us a practical toolkit for exactly that. Let's take a look at the tools you can use to start finding the truth. First, it's really important to know the difference between two words we hear all the time. Misinformation is when someone shares false info by accident. The Arreqqana call this an unawakened transmission. But disinformation, that's sharing false info on purpose to deceive you. They call this a dark weaving of threads. Just knowing that difference helps you start to understand the intent behind a story. And this, right here, is your practical guide, the resonance compass. It gives you 4 filters to run any story through. First, tone. Is it way too emotional or trying to scare you? Second, thread pattern. Does this story actually connect to other facts you know to be true? Third, and this is the big one, intention. Ask yourself, who benefits if I believe this? And finally, silence. What are they not telling me? At the end of the day, the goal here isn't just to get better at spotting fake news. It's about shifting your whole perspective from being someone who just passively receives information to someone who actively participates in understanding the world. This Arreqqana concept is just so empowering. It completely reframes your role. You're not just consuming stories anymore. You are actively weaving your own understanding of reality. And when you do that, you contribute to the collective awareness of everyone around you. To help sharpen this skill, people in Arreqqana's civic life use this little chant. It's kind of like a mantra for clear thinking. I reject the false tone. I quiet myself to hear truth. I return to the resonant thread. It's just a simple reminder to pause, to listen, and to look for that deeper current. And so, I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time a headline or a story or a post flashes across your screen, just stop for a second and ask yourself this one simple question from the Arreqqana tradition. Who gains thread strength from its telling? The answer to that? Well, it will tell you almost everything you need to know.